Yo, what up, y'all? Hey, it's your boy Drew. You checking out that Drew World Order Live. Today's Monday night, November 18th, 2019. I'm gonna go in here. Go in tonight on what we call actor-based reality. The world is a stage. Everyone's playing roles, and there's different thoughts behind this idea. I personally call it actor-based controlled dialectic because it seems to me these characters are all polarizing dialectic. Like Hegelian's dialectic. It's a method of philosophical argument that involves some sort of contradictory process between opposing sides. So, all these Hollywood types, all the people that are like A-level celebrities, high-level politicians worldwide, elite athletes, all these guys, down to lower level, crisis actors even. These are all people that they're literally, it's an entire ruse. Everything's just staged. I'm gonna keep checking back on these comments. Let me know if you guys can hear me good. Kind of stall a little bit, waiting to see if any more people show up, but there's different beliefs in this. So some people believe in the actor-based reality. Some people believe in like factory faces. We'll go over the difference on some of these things here. But basically, the way they're showing it to you nowadays, I mean, it can't get any more. You can't get any more actor than this. Then you got the President of the United States is literally a reality TV star. I mean, there's no way around that one. This guy, he was put in public. He was put in the public eye a long time ago, so you know who it is. Everything's planned so far in advance. You got 9/11, for example. 9/11, you had the emergency broadcast number 911 was formed 33 years before 9/11 happened. So it seems like there's tons of other correlations besides that, but it seems like everything's planned at least 30, 40, 50 years in advance. So this guy's put out there a lot of talk about him that he doesn't drink. I think he's that dedicated to the cause. He knows he's chosen for this role at this time. When you saw the numerology of his numbers on inauguration, let's see if I can find that. And him and Obama are playing like basically two polarizing opposite roles. So look how Trump has mobilized his base of supporters. And look how the Orange Man bad people act against him. And that's why I say actor-based controlled dialectic. These are controlled actors used to polarize. What is this? Number 777 on what? Some Forbes list or something? The number 7 resonates heavily with this guy and all the different stories. So the day he was inaugurated here, January 20th, 2017, he was 70 years old, 7 months, 7 days old. And then Obama, it was like the opposite. It was like 600, 66 or whatever. So these guys have these days set as their birth dates and everything. Whether it's the actual birth date or not, it's close enough that they know in these future events that it's going to resonate with that. I'm going to go way deeper than Trump here, but let's stay on him for a minute. Here's more of that Trump thing. On his first full day in office, Donald Trump was 70 years, 7 months, 7 days old. The biblical number 777. Let's see. There's a lot more to it if you look into it. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going. But also with Trump, this is his name. I mean, he's Trump. He's the Trump card. his name gives it away, and there's a lot of these actor type things have that where the name reveals the insights to the character that they're playing. Where some people get lost in this concept of actor-based reality is that they think what they see as these actors, politicians, celebrity, their real life that they see on like TMZ and all that stuff. They're unable to get through that's another layer of these characters. So the character you see of their home life with their celebrity marriage and all that, that's just another layer of a character, of another reality show presentation. That's people actually run with it and believe that it's real, that these two celebrities are married and getting divorced and all this stuff. That's just interpersonal drama between the celebrities for that layer of the psyop. There's multiple layers to these actors. So you had Trump born at 70 years, 7 months, 7 days. You also had Trump talked about in an old TV show about a guy named Trump that wants to come build a wall. And I've seen this. I won't be able to play it because of copyright, obviously. I'll even go to Snopes. Snopes will even say it's real. So I've seen this. Did a 1950s TV episode feature a character named Trump who offered to build a protective wall? True. In the 1950s, Western TV series named Trackdown featured a snake oil salesman named Trump who promised to build a wall in order to prevent the end of the world. So rather than play this and get my whole video strike down, you can go look this one up. It's called just look up Trackdown Trump, 50s Western show. This guy shows up in the town. He's got he creates some like smoke and mirrors effect and convinces the town residents that these like meteors are coming, and then he sells them. He has something that he can sell you that will build a wall basically around and protect the town from these meteorite attack or whatever. The role was played by, he was a guy named Walter Trump. Walter Trump, a confidence man, puts on a long robe and holds a tent meeting in the town of Talpa. He tells the townspeople that a cosmic explosion will rain fire on the town and that he is the only one that can save them from death. Ranger Hobie Gilman attempts to prove Trump is a fraud. And so it was a series, but this is the only time this Trump character appeared on there. So that's in the 50s, so we're almost in 2020. So that's about, 65 years ago or whatever that this was put on. And I believe this shows that the pre-scripting and pre-planning of this long-term meta script that they're running to get us to this point where we're at like the end game, the Trump card to be played on the American people. What's up, y'all? Can you guys hear me? Drop a comment if you can. I always get all worried that my audio's messed up, but hopefully it's set up all good. More about Trump was you had Trump in the heavy metal. There was a comic book about Trump as like the president. This 1990 issue of Heavy Metal magazine eerily predicted Trump's presidency. And it's about the wall 27 years ago. So in this article it reads, a lot has been made about how The Simpsons anticipated a Trump presidency. And I'm sure you guys have all seen that. So how did these Simpsons predict everything? Well, it's because everything's pre-planned 40, 50 years in advance with actors. This is what I'm talking about tonight. That's how they're able to do it. But in this heavy metal one here, it contains a dark comic that has become almost impossibly relevant in 2017. Just the title alone, The Wall, should give anyone pause. Artist Peter Kruper wrote the comic, which details a conspiracy between Donald Trump and Harry Helmsley, the now deceased real estate mogul who owned the Empire State Building. Although Trump is not named officially as the president here, he does use fascist-like tactics to build a wall in New York City to keep the poor away from the rich. Elsewhere in the comic are Trump's hats. Not red ones, but still, graffiti that reads "Dump Trump," and even the MAGA-ish undertones of "We can be number one again." So it's probably hard to see these on here. Even if I zoomed it in, it's kind of blurry to me, but just look up heavy metal Trump, and there's a whole comic about him from 1990. So it's not that far-fetched to see, what's up, EBT? To see where people are coming from when they say these people are actors and the world's a stage, because you got 50 or 60 years ago, he's on a TV show. I saw another one today that leads into this. I'm just going to kind of jump around. I don't really have a plan. I saw a picture someone posted on the internet. Let's see if I can find it. You get this guy. This person. It's a lower level crisis actor. So Greta, she came out. An actress, bad actress actually. It comes out advocating against climate change because the world's a stage. Why would they let a 16-year-old girl just go speak in front of the UN or wherever she was and give that kind of speech? She doesn't have any credentials really or anything, so why would they do that? But there was a picture from here it is, 120-year-old photo. Oh, look at it. It's getting taken down or what? Could be fake because I just seen this today. I don't want to give too much credence to this because I haven't looked into it. So look at right here. Just going to mute this here. Yeah, here we go. So what's going on here? You got someone that looks just like Greta. This could be something that's photoshopped into the past and put into the past, or it could be her posing as a picture just to throw people off. Or is Greta another thing we'll get into is some of these characters that we see on this world stage may just be 100% complete CGI composites. People that don't even really exist. So what's going on here with this Greta thing? I don't know. That does look just like her. Now someone could have... I don't go with the instant, oh yeah, it's a clone or anything. I don't even believe in clones. We'll get into that later, but this could be someone that's against Greta even, that doesn't believe in climate change, could have just photoshopped that in there and put it on the internet. It's so easy to put things into the past now with the internet. Oh, now she's a time-traveling environmentalist. Oh my god. Yeah, this is all from yesterday. I'll have to look into this one a little more. But at the very least, Greta is what you would call a crisis actor. A low-level actor hired by the media to sell these events, to act as a witness, or just to stir up, create a dialectic. Exactly what I'm talking about. She comes in, she's very polarizing. The climate change true believers love her, and they think she's so brave and powerful. And the people that see through the agenda see this is it's a cheap tactic used by the elites to put a child in front of you so that you can't criticize her. You also had David Hogg, who was after the shooting in Florida, he came out to advocate against gun control. His father is an FBI agent. He comes out, he admits that. But then a lot of these people online are seeing the resemblance between David Hogg and the other school shooter known as Adam Lanza. Now that was the Sandy Hook shooter, wasn't it? The Adam Lanza. I mean, they look almost identical. If you look at this, it's wild, And part of this seems like these characters on the world stage, a lot of them seem to have dual roles where they play. Here he plays the face of the shooter, and then later he comes back as the face of the savior. He's going to stop all the shootings. So yeah, there's definitely playing some kind of dual roles to inflict some sort of psychological trauma on the viewer, because deep down the viewer knows that it's the same person, I believe. Subconsciously, even a normie is aware of it. And you could just, if I'd taken an older picture of him, photoshopped it just a little bit. What is it? This one says he's Rachel Maddow or what? That's a good one. A lot of these are straight comedy too, that people will say, you know, these actors playing one or two roles, and some of them are just ridiculous. But there's got to be something to it, because I believe, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's tons of different actors, and I know you guys know a lot of them. What's up, Christina? Drop some of these in the comments, man, because, you know, when you're on the spot, it's hard to kind of think of them. But let me snitch on these little social medias real quick, too. If anyone knows how to get this off of my strikes here, can you tell me how? Somehow in the comments. Still have a community guideline strike from a video on April 7th. The Nipsey Hussle video EBT and I did. I even went in and physically deleted the video, even though it was like no one could even view it or anything. I deleted the video in hopes that it would take this strike out. It's still there. From April 7th, we're on down on November 18th. So ridiculous that this is still on my strikes. If you haven't, if you got a way I can get that off, let me know, because I've looked it up, I can't figure it out. Also, quick ad real quick, if you guys missed it, go check out this episode here outlining our enslavement. EBT and I went in on the shallowness of the truther movement. Everyone's just basically posting memes, they're not double checking anything. It's getting ridiculous. And so you're going to see tonight what I'm talking about here, when I'm talking about actor-based reality, is I'm not going to co-sign any of these and say any of these are real. But just pointing out the theory of what it is, and I'm going to show you tons of different examples of it. And again, where there's smoke, there's fire. So there's something to it. I don't know what it is. I don't know which ones are real. But in my opinion, if only one of these connections is real, then it blows open a whole new can of worms of what's going on here, of how the entire industrial, you know, the psychological industrial complex is just running game on everyone's minds through the media, across all platforms. So it's through politics, the mainstream media, entertainment, you know. Let's start going in on some of these here. This is one of them here that I've dug deep into before. Is Amy Winehouse being Lady Gaga, the same actress. So the concept here is that once Amy Winehouse is off the scene, so she plays the role of a drunk drug addict. Well, that's another layer of the character. So in this theory, she's not actually a drunk drug addict. That's an act. And she goes on stage, she does the shows. They remove her off the scene. I believe she was a member of that 27 Club. And then they bring her back, recast her as a new gimmick, much like WWE. They bring her back as Lady Gaga, and now she becomes like the biggest pop star. And now there's even talk that Lady Gaga might play Amy Winehouse in the Amy Winehouse movie. So think of how wild that would be if this was the case. I mean, they definitely look similar. Both similar voices and everything. Both super musically talented. What do you guys think? I think this one has a lot of... I think there's a lot to this one. Again, I'm not going to co-sign any of these, but I definitely think there's something to this one. Here's a guy you'll see as we go throughout all this. Well-aware one. I don't know if he's a website or Twitter or whatever. He's got tons of these, and a lot of them are good, and a lot of them seem like disinformation. So I don't know how I stand on that dude, but a lot of them seem kind of ridiculous. But just like anything else, they drop the truth in. with a lot of, misinformation and disinformation. This one's saying it's JonBenet Ramsey here. But we've also all heard the other one too, that JonBenet Ramsey is Katy Perry. And that this goes with kind of the concept, another concept of this theory called factory faces. So, I mean, is it her? There's no way to know. I guess in this theory, you'd say that this kid was, as a child, was either abducted or just sent to live in some kind of, different lifestyle for these elites and be groomed for this role later on in life. And, Katy Perry grew up in a super Christian cult, or so we're told. But those could have just been her handlers or something too, if this is real here. Kate, I don't know about this one, but they even brought this one out in the mainstream news to mock it and say that people are saying this, and they asked Katy Perry about it, and she ain't gonna answer no questions about it. Would she even know? Let's say it's real and she's just basically MK Ultra'd as a kid. Would she even remember? The whole JonBenet thing is another. I wouldn't go as far to say she's Katy Perry, but when I looked into that JonBenet thing for a while, I think it's just another layer of what we're talking about. The world's a stage. Mom and dad are actors. The kid's an actor. Who knows where the kid? I believe the kid could go into some program like this to be groomed for future superstar, or maybe just even a lower level crisis actor. Let's see if I can snitch on these guys too. Watch this. Even on my Instagram, it won't even let me put my website that I've owned since 2001. For some reason, it won't let me have the link in there. Link is not allowed. It looks like your profile contains a link that is not allowed. We restrict certain content and actions to protect our community. So I'm going to snitch on all these social medias every time. Even when I tried to change my email to drew@chalkbodyoutline.com, it wouldn't allow me to even do that. So it's pretty ridiculous, this censorship that I'm under. I don't know why, but when you got a guy named Holly Weird is Evil, which I have nothing against this guy or anything. I think I like what he's doing. But he, on his page, he's got his little site right there, selling merch and everything. But for some reason, I don't know, I'm not able to have my site, not even able to have my email or anything. So there's different levels of censorship for different creators and stuff. Ooh, we got a few people up in here. What's up, y'all? Benet never existing seems more believable to me. Yeah. Jordan Maxwell is Bill Cooper. I've never heard of that one. Let me look that one up. Jordan Maxwell is Bill Cooper. I've heard of Jordan Maxwell. Isn't he a big YouTuber? But I don't know who he is. Bill Cooper obviously wrote Beyond the Pale Horse. I can see the similarity there. It says Jordan Maxwell, Bill Cooper. I like when they do the ear biometrics. You do put a little red circle on the ear. That just seals it. That means it's 100% real. The fictional character known as D.B. Cooper is Lawrence Spelman Rockefeller. So yeah, that whole D.B. Cooper thing too, back in those days, that could have just been made up to sell newspapers and everything, you know what I mean? How would you know? They just show you a little cartoon picture of him. I mean, everyone's heard this one, that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. Look at it, comes right up, even it's searched so often. So in this theory, it's Bill Hicks is the comedian from the 80s. He dies somewhat young, but then he gets recast as the conspiracy guy, Alex Jones. Look at, they have the same hands. But there's something to this one too, because there's Sacred Cow Productions, who produces for Joe Rogan. That's the producer for Bill Hicks, and then also the producer for Alex Jones. And they say that guy says Bill Hicks and Alex Jones are his like real life best friends. The Sacred Cow guy says that. And also, before he passed away, Bill Hicks proposed to do some kind of, I don't know if it was a sitcom or some series about where he would play like a right-wing conspiracy theorist that gets murdered on like when he's doing his on-air broadcast. Someone will break in and murder him. So then he's almost like playing that role of what he envisioned, the Alex Jones character. This Alex Jones looks older than what he says he is. He says he's like 44 or something like that. Like, I'm 40. He looks older than me. So he would actually match the age that Bill Hicks says that he is. And this is where we call these people who are like CIA agents, NSA, or whatever. There's some sort of alphabet agents that are just agents and propagandists on you, creating polarizing characters that, want people. Alex Jones, you love him or you hate him. It's that simple. You can't stand him or you think he's the best. I mean, look at him here. They're saying here, Alex Jones is telling you he's 25 at this time. The real age would be 37 of Bill Hicks. And then this one, 39, he says. I don't know, man. 54, yeah, I could see 54. What other, man, there's so many of them, I don't even know where to begin. I just pull these up and see. Well, speaking of Joe Rogan, since I was just talking about him. So I just seen this article the other day too. It's Joe Rogan confirms that his cousin is My Chemical Romance singer Gerard Way. I don't know I don't listen to that, so I don't know if I'm saying that right. But so Rogan comes out and admits these guys are cousins and they don't know each other. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing family ties and bloodlines of people that are in top spots in Hollywood, influencers, and supposedly they don't know each other. That's kind of strange. Also, speaking of conspiracy theorists, Joe Rogan, when he was on news radio way back in the day, he played the role of a conspiracy theorist. So this is more where the real life, what you think is a real life persona, where he's really into these conspiracies, is just another layer of the act. And that when that translates later to him becoming, the Joe Rogan podcast, the pseudo-intellectual, he's not going to talk about anything way too far fringe, nothing that's way out there. You saw him before questioning space and the moon landing and all that. And as soon as this show blows up, well, he's not questioning it no more. He's not saying anything about it anymore. In fact, he's saying he believes it. He believes in space. He's probably one of these guys who believes in like the secret space program. A lot of these people will, because the moon landing is so easy to debunk and all that stuff. And then they'll be like, well, we went to the moon, but, that was produced propaganda to convince Russia we beat them. But there was a real secret space program. Like, that's ridiculous. It's just patchwork on top of these space theories to continue to believe in space. Or at least as space as we're told what it is. So yeah, you got another bloodline here. So I don't know how it works. If these people are born into it, or maybe they're raised for it or something. I don't know. Check these comments here. Damn, we got a lot of comments here. Justin Bieber and The Weeknd. That's a good one. I think it goes that deep. This is one some people will refuse to believe, because right here there's a picture of them, and that's all it takes for some people to believe that, they're not the same person because there's a picture of them together. But some people will say that The Weeknd, this character The Weeknd, is basically Justin Bieber in a blackface mask. and I see where they're coming from when you really look at it. He would basically be. This is part of what people confuse as like clones, in my opinion. Is that what these? This is the concept of deep fakes. So Hollywood level masks and possibly even like Snapchat type filters on the faces of these top stars. You got two actors, or is it the same guy? Whatever. They're both from Canada. They both dated Selena Gomez. They're both, singers. They live the life on tour. The concept here is that The Weeknd is Justin Bieber in a blackface mask, basically. It's pretty racist when you think about it. And I don't know. Look at Taylor Swift. Get into her later, too. You also got, that's one Infinite Plane Society talks about a lot, is this one here. And the other one he talks about I like is Aisha Curry is Miley Cyrus. So the same concept, where Miley Cyrus is in a blackface mask or bodysuit, a latex bodysuit that completely covers her face. And again, it's the role of duality. So you have Miley Cyrus out here twerking and doing all this crazy shit, acting just real wild, contrasted with Aisha Curry, the stay-at-home mom. She's a good mom. She's all about just being there with her kids. I mean, I see where they're coming from. She looks similar. And also, Aisha Curry was in the show Hannah Montana. Obviously, Miley Cyrus was Hannah Montana, which was the concept of, her playing two roles, her own life and then the superstar Hannah Montana. And, transferring back and forth between those two roles. Aisha Curry was on that show. But her and Miley were not in the same scene together. And some people would even say, or I've seen people say, Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber possibly even the same person or bloodline or something. I'm spelling that wrong, but because when you look at the similarities between these two. So, are they twins? Is it some kind of like a genetic, gene, super gene baby or whatever? And I think this is one we get into. It's a similar concept called factory faces, where you see a lot of people that look the same, but we don't know what's really happening there. Like I said, I'm not going to co-sign any of these. So actor-based reality and factory faces go hand in hand. Factory faces could mean that they're just some like genetic super kids that they're populating that are being raised to become later celebrities, or maybe even just crisis actors or whatever, politicians. And that's why they look alike, maybe. You have Lil Xan and Billie Eilish, similar kind of thing. They look almost identical. Billie Eilish looks like Xan in a wig, right? It says Billie Eilish is like Hannah Montana, except she's secretly Lil Xan. See, and then they come out with a picture of them two together, and that's all it takes for people to say, well, it's not the same person. I'm not saying it is the same person. They could be brother and sister. They could just be, genetically modified babies that were like that. But when you got even a meme like this is telling me that normies can see it in their subconscious. And that's the joke of it, is that it's so in your face and obvious that I think it does register on the subconscious level of a normie. But again, we're not saying they're exactly the same person, even though it could 100% be the same person. Or brother and sister, there's something there. We don't know what it is. There's tons of people trying to figure out what's going on here with all this. Who else we got? Joe Rogan is Crowley's grandson, EBT said. Oh, he said he made that up. Donald Trump is Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, okay. That's perfect. Thanks for bringing that up. EBT said there. Dr. Mengele, twin experiments. So if you don't know about that, they call this guy Dr. Mengele. Called him like they call him like the Dark Angel or something. They had some fucking weird name like that. But he was doing all kinds of crazy experiments on people in World War II. But then what happened is he went to some, where did he go, an island or something like that, to live out the rest of his days. And then he had all this twin research in Auschwitz. And he went and lived his life out on some island, and where there are tons of twins now in this island. This one doesn't get into the island part, but he was basically able to, in lab conditions, create twins almost every time. And so that could be continuing to this day, where they have basically all these, like that last one you seen, Zan and Billie Eilish. Maybe they're just twins and they're just bred for this. And then maybe there's tons of twins or triplets even that are put into this program for these elites. Maybe they learn all the ancient mysteries, mystery school, and all that. Who knows what they learn? But basically, as they grow up, it would be like probably the weaker ones that are, if this is the case, it'd be like human farming. So the weaker ones would probably just get eaten. If you believe in adrenochrome and all that, I mean, what are they going to do? Pay some drug addict guy to go, wrangle them up some children to eat? Or would it'd be way easier to just raise farms of people, And then the weak ones you probably eat. The lower level ones that aren't as good as the rest would become like crisis actors. And then the better actors, smarter ones and everything probably become higher level, politicians and celebrities. You got, I keep going back here. I haven't even. This is ridiculous right here. The dude from The Office is Alice Cooper. See, I don't believe that one. Oh yeah, here's another good one. I don't want to play a whole video. But Jimi Hendrix is Morgan Freeman. That's another one people say. Age is about right. They look about right. They both look tall. That's the thing. If you go in and you look at the height, let's say, of Jimi Hendrix, and if it doesn't match Morgan Freeman by 1 or 2 inches, people will say, well, it's not true. You got to understand, it's just like WWE. That's their build height and their build weight. Like they say, the Big Show is 7'2", 520 pounds. He's not really that big. He's probably like 6'10", 350 or whatever, depending on the day. And they bill him as 7'2", 520. So the same thing's going on here. So is this Morgan Freeman or Jimi Hendrix? Jeez, you can't even tell. I don't know. Another good one is that Richard Pryor is Steve Harvey. So that, again, in these scenarios, these actors play a role when they're young. They get taken off the scene, fake celebrity death. Now, everything they produced in the past is worth more money because, they're removed off the scene. So all of Richard Pryor's comedy specials, all of Jimi Hendrix CDs and everything are worth more when they're dead. And then they can just bring them back under a brand new persona. And obviously a little bit's going to change, on their look. They can do plastic surgery. They can do Hollywood level masks. Any of that stuff. I think this one's pretty good to me. Not going to co-sign any of them, but that one I like too. Argentina, the town he lives has the highest populations of twins in the world. Yeah. EBT said Harrison Ford is Jim Morrison. Let's look into that one. I heard Jim Morrison was Rush Limbaugh. I can see it. They look a little bit similar. Wasn't it Jim Morrison that was Rush Limbaugh or somebody else? I mean, there's so many of these. I feel like I could go all night. Obviously, when you're on the spot, it's hard to think of them. Another famous one is JFK playing the role of Jimmy Carter. So think of how large scale the deception would have to be if something like that was real. They'd bring JFK out, pump him up, pump his stock up, get the public to love him, traumatize you, take him off the scene. Either Hollywood mask or whatever, plastic surgery, bring him back as another president. I think the deception's that deep. I'm not going to say this one's 100% real, but I think ones just as big as this could be real. I can see where people are coming from on this one. And another one, they say like JFK's wife could have also been Marilyn Monroe, the same character. How do you spell Marilyn Monroe? And what I think we're seeing here with this, or any concept like this, is here you're in the 60s, right? Imagine trying to explain a Snapchat lens to somebody in the 60s, or even before that, 40s, 50s. If you didn't have a concept of what even like that Snapchat lens was, if you'd never seen it, you'd never be able to even imagine that there's some software that overlays an augmented reality that's only seen through the lens. You'd never ever conceptualize that. So if this is the case, it's probably something like a Snapchat lens filter effect. But that makes me think, what about today, modern day, 2020 almost? What technology do they have that they're going to give to us in 40 years is being used on us right now that we can't even fathom that's being used? Just like right here. If this is true, I'm not saying it is, but if Jackie Kennedy played Marilyn Monroe, that would be an easy way to do it. Would be, obviously, you do a wig and everything, but just put on a little Snapchat lens effects, and it's probably been perfected in weaponized form by a military-industrial complex for a long time. And that's the duality of the role. She plays the duality of the president's wife, and then the other side of the spectrum, the starlet Marilyn Monroe, and then sleeps with the husband. I mean, that would be pretty wild. And I think the deception is way bigger than people would ever understand. Another thing here, maybe it's just the same guy with like a Snapchat lens effect with the duality role. The guy, he brings you the great entertainment for your children, and he's just so great for kids. And the other guy, mass murderer. Later, Disney teamed up with Nazi scientist Werner von Braun, had him on all kinds of, Saturday morning cartoons to sell you the space program. The Nazis came over in that Operation Paperclip, established NASA, and Walt Disney is one of the top proponents back in his day, selling all the outer space fantasy to the children. And here's where they get us here. Let's say this one's real. First of all, there's going to be a lot of people that would even get mad that you would bring this up. To me, being able to say, was Walt Disney Hitler, is just as important for the First Amendment, freedom of speech, as open carrying on your hip and walking to the store, how it should be. You got to use your rights or you lose them. So if anyone wants to poo-poo on this and say, there's no way this could be real, you're just trying to shut down free speech. If you're trying to say it's hate speech, that's what freedom of speech is for, unpopular opinions. And the main message here I have tonight when going through all this is basically, we don't know the extent of it, but it seems like all these top politicians and influencers are all actors. So basically we got to understand and say, stop blaming the Illuminati, stop blaming these control structures, because the real people that are doing these war crimes are the soldiers that they send over, or the policemen, the modern day policemen that go and enforce all these orders. So if you went overseas and were shooting at someone and taking someone's land and everything, the moral culpability lies on you. So we need to stop blaming the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call this faction of controllers, and start blaming it on the people that actually do it. They're tricking people into consent to go give their life and die. Modern day sacrifice, But is it really their fault? Or I don't think so, because the moral culpability is on the person that pulled the trigger, the person that went and did the immoral acts. The more I look at this one, man, the more I can see where people see this one from, the duality of that role, especially. And again, go back to the 40s and imagine a Snapchat lens. Nobody would know. Only the people that needed to know would know. We got to look at their wives too, because that was a big part of this one. Where's Hitler's wife? I'll show you Disney's wife too. So here you got Hitler's wife, Eva Braun. Take a good look at her, and I'll pull up Disney's wife. They look similar, not 100%. That's one of the ones. How about this one? John Denver plays Steve Irwin. Possibly. John Denver, the country singer. Oh, what's going on? There's always some kind of fuckery when I'm getting on this internet. Basically, you can see it here, hopefully. Can I just... Damn, it won't even let me open that picture bigger, but whatever. Oh, no, I closed it. John Denver gets taken off the scene when he died in like 84 or something. And that's kind of right when Steve Irwin started taking off. Let's look it up. John Denver. Oh, he died in 97, I guess. But, before he dies, they take him off the scene. He's not really touring anymore. And then Steve Irwin comes on the scene. When did he start? 91, they said he became active. So when Denver's career is winding down, Steve Irwin's career is winding up. But look at the wives. That's the one for me on this one. Cassandra Denver and Terry Irwin. I mean, crazy, dude. So when we talk about actor-based reality, we're not just talking about people that play two roles either. We're talking about the entire presentation of reality as laid out to you by mainstream media is literally actors like Albert Einstein. Like, he's what you would think a scientist would look like. So they'd put him out there in front of you, and he just reads whatever they tell him to read. He's an actor. And this is how they sell you things like relativity. This is how they remove ether from the equation. Kids growing up today never heard of the ether. Why? Because Einstein came out and debunked it. Look at him, the 3-6 is right there. Freemason or whatever the fuck this guy is. You ever seen his wife? That's when we say this too. Where's that one? Look at his wife here. Oh, get the fuck out. Look at this shit. You telling me that's not a man right there or something? I mean, this looks like a man wearing a prosthetic breast, gloves to cover the hands and everything. And this is, a lot of these you see, there's like their handler or something. Their wife is their handler, it seems like, or something. What's that other one? That politician dude is like Chuck Schumer's wife, I think. That's Amy Schumer's like uncle or something. Yeah, here it is. Chuck Schumer's wife looks like it looks like a dude, and they get these people in there. Now, part of this could be because they're running all kinds of crimes from the inside. Insider trading, all kinds of shit, I would assume. Yeah, that's a man, baby. But why you would do this, I would guess, is because, well, it's either an MKUltra handler, or most likely it's a person that's involved in this scheme with you. And whatever they're doing is obviously illegal to make tons of money, and it's protecting them from being able to testify against each other in court when it all comes crashing down one day, is my opinion. So he could keep this person with him at all times and tell you it's his wife, and it's really just like a partner in crime. And they're going to have immunity on each other if they ever get dragged into court. Yeah, and Amy Schumer there, that pig. So not funny. Oh, so Hillary is really Monica. I never thought of that one. Damn, Bono and Robin Williams, Randy Superior said. Yeah, his wife actually wrote all of Einstein's work, is what EBT said. I've heard that too, that his wife was a huge, like, super deep mathematician, and that's what you're reading when you read all his mathematics stuff. I gotta look this one up though. Bono and Robin Williams. Let's see this one. Oh, not. Yeah, look, it comes right up because people are searching it. Oh, damn, they do look alike. So again, this could be the Joseph Mengele's twins, or maybe they're twins, triplets, or whatever. Maybe they're, genetically modified babies that went through these elites' schooling system or whatever to become future stars. Or is it the same guy in a mask with a Snapchat filter or something? I'll go back to that one. Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of this one. This is a really good one, actually. They look so much alike. And that's what the concept of factory faces is. We don't really know what factory faces is. Let me go to my homegirl Claire on here if I can. She's got a whole album of them. I don't know the names of a lot of these actors because I don't watch that many movies. But look at Christian Bale, looks just like this dude. I don't know who that guy is. Jim Morrison and Chevy Chase. Holy shit. Jim Morrison's dad was, a huge military guy. Jim Morrison was put out there as literally an actor. What we're talking about here, controlled dialectic, where the young kids back then thought he was so great and anti-war. The old timers back then probably thought he was some, polarizing hippie. Vince Neil and John Lovitz, damn. John Krasinski and Zachary Levi. Paris Hilton and Kareena Kapoor. I don't know who that Kareena Kapoor is, but damn. Another good one. Who's that dude on the left there? I don't know who that is. Is that supposed to be Tommy Lee or somebody? I'm not sure who that dude is. Nipsey in 21. You see 21 Savage came in, they busted him as he was some hardcore rapper from Atlanta or something, I think. And then it came out, oh, he's really from Britain. He's from the UK. Damn. Is Francois, I don't know who that is, Cluzet, the son of Dustin Hoffman? Damn, they look identical though. Hoffman is only 13 years older, so unlikely. That's all it takes for most people as they read. It's 13 years, so it's not real. That's his build age. You got to understand that. Richard Simmons and Pauly Shore. So obviously different ages. It's not the same person, most likely. But is it his son? Is it some kind of bloodline? You got to understand, if you're saying they're putting the same people in multiple roles, you couldn't have too many people out there, so you would need to keep it in the family or have a person playing multiple roles just to keep the loose lips sink ship. So you couldn't have as many people as, wow, look at this one, Steven Spielberg is David Koresh. Holy shit. Yeah, David Koresh could have just been a complete total media construct. Bill Gates is Stephen Hawking. I think the late Stephen Hawking is just like a robot. Reverend Jim Jones of the Jonestown Massacre is the old man from Pawn Stars or whatever. Damn, that one looks exactly like him. So what's happening here in this Factory Faces? Pope Benedict, Robert Blake. The Queen and Betty White. I've went down that rabbit hole before. Could be another one of those duality roles. Larry the Cable Guy and Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock. Sandra Bullock is Michael Jackson. Holy shit. Oh, here we go. John Denver and Steve Irwin again. And they look so much alike. Oprah Winfrey and Erin Morgan. I don't know who Erin Morgan is. It says it's a dead actress. Examples of race change makeup. So look at these people put on blackface easily. You would never know. If you just seen them in public, you wouldn't think twice to look at them that hard. It'd be a very convincing mask, I think, in person. Oh, what about this isn't her, but what about OJ's wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, being Megyn Kelly? That's another one that people talk about. Michael Moore is Rick Warren. Kristen Johnson is Christy Alley. Yeah, they look alike. Hillary Clinton is Shirley Jones. Yo. Ronald Reagan is Joseph Stalin. I've never come across this one, but this is the level of deception that I believe is possible. How would you know? You never seen Stalin. You seen what they wanted you to see of him. They control all released information. Ben Affleck is Edward Burns. What the? Chuck Schumer is Bill O'Reilly. James Brolin, George Bush. Again, these are more the concept of Factory Faces. So I think most people would say these aren't the same people, but they're saying they look alike enough to ask a question like, what's going on here? How are all these Hollywood people famous looking alike like this? Is it some kind of bloodline? Kurt Russell and Jeff Bridges. I thought it was Kurt Russell and Riff Raff. I thought Riff Raff was his clone. The Lamborghini Kurt Russell. Steve Martin, I heard he was someone else. I can't remember who right now. Damn, there's tons of these on here. Damn, the Dalai Lama is Hunter S. Thompson. Holy shit. That one's crazy right there. Damn. Stanley Kubrick. And then this guy, Ahmed Salam Rushdie. I don't know who that is, but how is that not the same guy? Okay, I said I won't co-sign any of these. Just looking at this one, if that's really what the other guy looks like, that's got to be the same guy. How is that not? I got to follow up on that one. Wow, that's incredible how alike those people are. You know, there's only so many genes, and people are going to look alike, but there's Crowley and Barbara Bush. Some people would say Barbara Bush is even Crowley, like still alive, old as fuck, through some magic or something, wearing a wig. There are tons of them here. Obama's mom totally looks like Paul McCartney. That's another one too. The what about John Lennon and Steve Jobs? There's a lot to that one. Besides the looks, so a lot of these go deeper than the looks. Here you got this guy, John Lennon. The Beatles, an entire Tavistock construct. I've speculated the Beatles, the whole Paul's not dead and all that. I've speculated it's the Beatles are just maybe 2 or 3 actors for each guy, and they just go town to town. And that's where people are getting caught up in, you know, Paul's not dead or Paul's dead and all this. First they give him the same glasses. You also had the Beatles were planning Apple Music back in the day. It was literally called Apple Music, which they envisioned to be, you know, even stores and everything. But here's where it gets deeper, is when you get into these articles. Here's a Forbes article that says Steve Jobs equals John Lennon. Like, why are they saying that? There's tons of articles that say that. When I was researching this before, yeah, there's just tons of articles. Steve Jobs, the John Lennon of technology. It's almost like they're just telling you. Maybe it's like a sick joke behind the scenes. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak pays tribute to his colleague Steve Jobs, saying his death is like the world has lost John Lennon. So his own, you know, guy that helped him found Apple. And here's one going into it saying it is, oh, well, you're biometric, so it's 100%. 100% there. Apple Records is a label founded by the Beatles in 1968. And then this dude comes out with Apple computers in the early 80s. And the first computer, $666. You can look that one up too. So either the same guy or maybe related, who knows, but definitely agents of the system there. Mengele and Nicole Brown Simpson. Controlled dialectic, remember. So first in the 80s, you would have had, or 90s, you would have had Nicole Brown Simpson being there to push like race mixing. You trigger the people that are against race mixing. And then now you have her, she was on Fox, and she was triggering, Megyn Kelly was on Fox, triggering the hardcore rhinos, you know, triggering them because she was too liberal. And then she went to Good Morning America or whatever. And then she probably triggered those people, I'm sure, to say, oh, this is some conservative bimbo, blah, blah, blah. I think everything about these ones matches up. This is a really good one. Where once that Nicole Brown's off the scene, just give her a brand new role to play. I think that's one that I'm not going to say it's 100%. It's impossible to say any of these are 100% without being in the room with them while they're changing and, admitting it basically. But that's one I think is actually highly likely. Here you go, hand biometrics. See the veins right there? Proof. Some people take this proof thing so far. It's like, oh yeah, this is proof. Oh, Blasey Ford. So that's another one. Is where people think Brent Kavanaugh played that Christine Blasey Ford. And this is the level, whether if this is real or not, this is the level of deception that I believe is out there, where this guy, they have the trial on TV, and then many people think he's the same actor playing the accuser, and that's the duality of the role. So as they're putting this guy on, this is like his initiation or whatever. He's got to play a woman and play the duality role. When you don't watch this stuff, like me, I'm sure the people in here, we don't really watch the news stuff. It's so otherworldly to watch when I got to go into work and there's an entire break room of people watching this and they're glued to the TV like it's real. And when I'm watching, when I just glance up at it, because I give it no attention, but when I glance up at it, it's worse acting than any soap opera, worse acting than wrestling even, which is pretty bad. It's the only thing good is the quality of like the camera shots and everything, like super high quality cameras, but literally worse than soap opera acting. I wouldn't say it's 100% the same person. Some people say also this Blasey Ford is Amy Schumer, which that could be part of it too, since Chuck Schumer is her uncle or whatever it is. Chevy Chase. Let's see. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Trudeau is Castro's son. That's another one too. If you never heard of that one. There's pictures of Castro holding him as a baby. These are young Castro compared to him. I mean, he looks alike. There's pictures of Castro, right here. This is Castro holding him as a baby. Castro with his mom. Picture of Castro and Trudeau's dad here. So even back then, you got to understand, Castro's an actor and a character. So he wears this Star Wars fatigues or whatever. And look at this picture here. They know the camera's here. They know they're about to click this picture. And they hit the pose. They probably hit a few different poses, and then they pick which ones they want. These aren't just organic pictures that they take. They know the camera's there. Just like the one, let me see if I can, yeah, this one here. We've all seen this one. The lady, is it a lady? I don't know. That screams when Trump is finally inaugurated. This lady screams out. Why is the camera there pointed to her? How did the camera know that she...
Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps loose in for the inaugural address.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th.
So that's a crisis actor. That's a low-level crisis actor. So that person's there with the camera.
President of the United...
They put the camera on him first. And then they get the green light, and she just goes into the bad acting like Greta. So actor-based reality is not just for, high-level celebrities and politicians. It's all the way down to the carefully constructed, every little scene you see on the news is carefully constructed through actors. And it's all legalized propaganda. So none of this could ever be brought against him in a court of law or anything. But this is pretty funny.
United States of America, Donald.
Tap on the shoulder. You adjust the microphone as you're told, man.
For their gracious aid.
Not one tear. She's sitting there screaming like she's gonna cry. There's no tear in her eye.
I'm so sorry
They have
to
been
my world. I am so sorry to my world. This is not what we want.
We will face challenges.
There's so
I'm trying to see if this is even a mask, because you see it's covered up all the way here. So this could be a mask on someone going down just over their neck, and you would never know. This could be a famous celebrity. It could be anyone, really. It could just be whoever's with the cameraman that day, you know? They could have just brought this person with. We've all seen the Harley guy for 9/11. Ridiculous that this guy, he knows the official story 1 second after it happened.
A few blocks away and witnessed.
Dude, I live on the 43rd floor of a building which is 5 blocks from the World Trade Center itself. I witnessed the entire thing from beginning.
People talk about how
I better turn that off. I'll get a copyright strike on that one, I'm sure. This is known as Harley guy. Right after it happens, they ask him, and he says, both buildings fell down because structural damage was just too intense from the fire. He's got the whole story down pat. Then later you seen this guy. This guy was there was like an airport shooting or something not that long ago, and he was involved in that too. Not involved in it, but he was like interviewed in that. And you see that a lot with these crisis actors, is there you'll see them in multiple events. So you see these same crisis actors that were in the shooting in Vegas, they're all of a sudden in another shooting somewhere else and everything. You know what I mean? It's like, because they're probably like stagehands or whatever that work for these news companies, and they're traveling town to town to cover these stories, and hey, let's just reuse this one. We've all seen the crying girl. Shooting in Vegas, they're all of a sudden another shooting somewhere else and everything. You know what I mean? It's like, sorry, man. Fucking, where's the crying girl? This lady. This lady was a crisis actor. We've seen this guy too. Everyone knows this guy. His kid just got mowed down, preschooler, kindergartner, or whatever. He comes out laughing. Oh, look at this is the CNN version, so they have it scrubbed now. They scrubbed the beginning of it that they showed before, but I even think that ones like this are intentional when he comes out laughing. I think that's just a form of gaslighting, because they know that they're full of shit. Look at the top comment says, why don't you include the 10 seconds before him speaking? You know, the one where he's laughing? But I don't, he's in front of the bricks here for Freemasonry. All this is so staged. And they want you to know it's staged, I think, at this point. I think that's what disclosure is. Disclosure has nothing to do with aliens, anything like that. It's this, what we're talking about here. Actor-based reality. Controlled characters that shape public opinion. And then, but worse is we go out and manifest their reality for them. We're the ones that do it. We go out and commit the wars, everything that they want done. All the transgressions against your fellow man is you're tricked into consenting to doing it. But it doesn't matter that you're tricked. You got to be smarter than this. All this information's out here nowadays. So we can't be falling for this stuff anymore. We need to make sure we take stands and not do any immoral behaviors because Iran or attacked America or whatever they're gonna say happened next. All they got to do is show you a car bomb or something on TV, whether it was real or not, and 90% of the people, that's all it's gonna take. Another website here called This Person Does Not Exist. So when you click this, it creates a computer generated image of a person that looks pretty real. Here I can see when you really dissect these, you can see it. The ear here looks like weird, stretched out, everything. there's some like artifacts around the eyes, but to most people, the average normie, if you just posted this picture up and said, this person did this, you could say anything. And all it takes is a picture and a headline, and people are going to believe it. You could show this guy here and just say, this guy, he killed 12 people in a shooting rampage. 98% of people would believe it. And these aren't even real people. So this is all just computer generated images here. Here I can see the fakeness on the ear there. You got to really look for it. And especially if you've seen just a small photo in like a newspaper article or on a YouTube corner of a YouTube video, you see it on your phone, it's like this small to your eye. You're not going to see these imperfections like that. So I think this one just takes composites of different men and women and just kind of creates a whole new character. So this is the level that the CGI is at. This is consumer grade end doing this. So they've had this weaponized tech of this for many, many, many years. And even better than this. Here I can see the imperfections when I look close enough. Here's tooth, looks like it's got a hole in it or something. But again, you wouldn't see that. This is probably an automatic algorithm compiling it all together too. I don't think it's necessarily a guy making it, where a person by hand would be able to edit out all these imperfections. This is just a quick render from a computer. So I wonder if some of these people that we see of like factory faces and all that, if it's possible that these people are complete CGI, or if any world leaders on the world stage are just 100% CGI people, Let me go to YouTube and I'll show you this video called Face-to-Face Technology, what they can do. It won't play it for the copyright. I'll keep the sound off, but basically what they do is they take a YouTube video of any target. The more emotions shown by that target, the better. So here they take videos of George Bush and feed it into this computer. Then they put a guy on a webcam, and this guy with the webcam, kind of like that old Xbox Kinect, the webcam person is able to control the face and mouth of whoever the target actor is. So as this guy moves his mouth, George Bush is moving his mouth, right? And again, this is just done at a university, just with a over-the-counter webcam. I think it's the exact same webcam I'm talking into right now. It was like $50 on Amazon. So this is what they're using for this at this school. Now imagine an unlimited budget. Imagine a way more powerful computer. It would be very easy to have characters on TV that are just completely CGI rendered, in my opinion. And that's what I think we're up against today, that people don't have a concept of. Just like I talked about earlier, like if they were using Snapchat type lenses in the 40s or 50s, nobody would know. So I think today what we're seeing that nobody knows, or maybe only a few people are slowly getting onto it, is this. Just complete dummy characters that don't even exist. Maybe they did exist at one time, but they could have just removed them from the scene, and now they're no longer a liability. Now the person's just a complete CGI avatar, maybe with a voice actor behind the scenes that just creates the sound of their voice. Who knows? But I mean, this looks somewhat convincing. You can tell it's fake, but it looks pretty. I bet it would fool most people. I bet 80 to 90% of people would be fooled by this. The people with the better eye for it, you could easily get past them by having just a stronger computer and better input video and a bigger budget. I would go as far as say Obama is possibly an entire CGI character. there's some of them. I think there's certain times Obama is definitely CGI that I've seen. The one you see of him with, they say he's got like Baphomet horns or whatever over him. It looks like the curtains are like horns over his head. To me, that one looks super CGI. Let me see if I can, not this one. I don't know how to look it up. This is where this tech's at, man. Maybe this is what we're... Christina says, I'd say every character on TV is CGI. Yeah, what about the holograms? Exactly. The holograms, too, if you've never seen that, man, that's another layer to this thing. Again, the holograms they're going to show you are not going to be as advanced as a weaponized version with a military black budget, unlimited budget. So they're able to bring Tupac out in concert here. You know, it looks a little blurry. But this is people on a budget that have to make money. They have to earn money, you know, so it's not unlimited budget like the military would have to be able to do something like this. So here you have a full 3-dimensional performance by a dead rapper. The holograms go deep too. So when I say Obama's a hologram or a CGI, he could be 100% CGI person that you see on TV, and then when you see him at a rally or something, it could just be a hologram. How would you ever know? First of all, how many people have even been to these rallies? Not that many. And when you get there, you're so far away. You're no closer than these people are to the Tupac hologram. They also have these holograms here, like you go to these, I think it's like malls in other countries, and then you can just go on these, like a 5D zoo hologram or something they're called. Look, it's got the clouds, it's got everything. Super crazy. The level that these holograms are at. These are the consumer level holograms. So we've all heard of Project Bluebeam. That's something that's been talked about forever in conspiracy circles and everything. But we've never seen it. Unless that's what 9/11 was, maybe. Look at this one. I mean, that's crazy. You got even the splashing of the water. And then this goes into one that I think too of, like, if you're a believer of the hologram planes of 9/11. So look at that water splashing right there. Let me freeze it there. So the whale's gone and there's nothing left but the splashes of water. So that could be what you're seeing when you see these planes. You see the plane just vanish into the building, and there's a little plume of smoke behind it. It could be the same thing as that hologram. I can't find the right one. I think it was the first. I'm trying to find the one where it flies right in the side of the building. I don't know if I'll be able to find it right now, but the entire reality that's presented to you, though, is just basically holographic universe, Christina said. I mean, what other ones do we got here, man? These actor-based reality factory faces, and what do you guys think's going on? Is what I don't know what's going on either. If it's bloodlines, is it the Mengele twins? Is it masks? Is it all of it? Is it CGI? Here's another one that I've been on to. I don't see many people talking about this one. Got Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son. Looks just like this dude, Extension, whatever his name is. I don't listen to that shit. I don't know. I mean, look at this dude. And when I looked that up before, there was only one article that I found of one other person looking into that. And I wish I could play it for you. Type Extension. Let me see if I can find the right one to send you the right link. There was a thread on Reddit, and they had 2 songs that you could, with the links, and you could go listen to the 2 links. Because when you listen to these guys' voice side by side, it's unbelievable. And Jaden Smith can't come out rapping about hood shit and beating women. You know what I mean? So he's got to create a character to come on and do that. And that's why they removed that character so early from the scene. The other character, Extension or whatever. They removed this character early from the scene in Broward County. He was found dead in that Broward County. So Broward County Sheriff Office is searching for the killer. And that's, remember, if you remember that Sheriff Israel, where that, first of all, the name is suspect as fuck. Sheriff Israel. And then he was in that Parkland shooting or whatever. I think that's the one it was. This guy's fuckery written all over him for sure. Speaking of Sheriff Israel, in my opinion, there's no such thing as clones. I'm sure they're trying to clone. I'm sure they want to clone. I would think they can make like a husk of a body, but I don't think they can just swab somebody's mouth and make a copy of that person in a few months or whatever. I'm sure they want to. I'm sure they're trying. And if they can, that technology is reserved for like the Queen and those types of people, and not Dave Chappelle. You know, not Gucci Mane. Why would they be cloning Gucci Mane? That's ridiculous. So I think clones is a direct either misinterpretation of this information of it's literally actors playing multiple roles, or just, you know, they're just actors. Gucci Mane, he just lost a shit ton of weight. Did he go to jail? Probably not. They probably said, dude, you're too fat. You need to get in shape. Take him off the scene, put him on a 2-year physical training program, and now he's back and he's in good health. But that gets into the Raelians. I don't think I'm spelling that right. This is Raeliism. This is their logo. That's what I got there. That's my segue from Scott Israel. This is their logo. And they're the ones that say they perfected cloning, or they said they cloned someone. They run this place called Clonaid, right? And they say they cloned, was that Dolly the sheep or whatever? I think that was them behind it. And they created Clonaid. So what Clonaid is you can pay these Clonaid a shit ton of money, and they say they'll like clone your dog or your cat or something, okay? So this is the proof of clones. This is the most amount of proof you'll find of clones. This Clonaid can clone your cat or dog. Okay, I bet when you give them all the money, I bet they just go find a cat or dog that looks exactly like the fucking cat or dog you had. And then they just say, oh yeah, you know, there's going to be slight defects because, well, you know, you could just explain any part of it away and say, well, the personality's not going to be the same. You didn't have the exact same upbringing or whatever. And now you paid $5,000 for, you know, just a kitten they went and found that looked just like yours or whatever. But I think the Raelians, I mean, if you just look at some of them, the logo gives them away to begin with. But where's some of the people that are just in that organization? They're just, it's basically, yeah, it's like a UFO religion. There's a lot of wild people that wear like, yeah, here we go. They just wear the weirdest things. I was hoping there's more of it in there, but Just weird looking motherfuckers, dude. And this is when you say clones, this is basically the only thing you're gonna find as a supposed proof. All the other shit is just people on YouTube talking, oh, I used to be part of some underground clone program and all this shit. No, I don't. I think that's all disinformation. I don't think that they're doing that. What's up, y'all? Damn, I got 10 people in here. If y'all got any more people you want me to go in on here, let me know. Because this is one of my favorite topics. And it's kind of hard when you're in. Every time I do these live streams, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention this and that. David Icke. I just seen one the other day that said David Icke was Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson. Yeah, here we go. So that's David Icke, and he's always talking about reptilian shapeshifters, right? I think that's another misinterpretation of this information. It's not reptilian shapeshifters. It's actors in Hollywood-level masks. It's CGI-level people, indistinguishable, but then also Snapchat-type filter effects. Oh, I was hoping this would get into the Richard Branson. I don't see it happening, though. But basically, this is Richard Branson, the Virgin Galactic guy. He was like before Elon Musk. He was the guy they were putting on as like the next Elon Musk, and I haven't heard much about him lately. And some people say this guy is also David Icke, which I can see it a little bit. Either way, this guy is a constructed character just like Elon Musk, just like Mark Zuckerberg. Actor-based reality. They put an actor in front of you for some government shit, and then they just throw an actor as he's the face of the front man of the organization. So another one I talk about a lot is that what these controlled actors are doing is, you ever wonder why Hollywood, all they're ever talking about is banning guns and all that shit. They come out here and virtue signal. Maybe it wasn't Hong Kong, but when Brad Pitt did the movie World War Z, they got caught bringing guns into some other country. And so I speculate that what's happening with these major movies that are all about, you know, weapons and war, they're probably in tons of movies too about like cocaine or just drugs in general and stuff. I bet you what they're doing is they have like prop guns and drugs, but also mixed in is real guns and drugs. And they take these movie sets on location in other countries to run drugs and guns into the country. And so Brad Pitt is used in this scenario. Here we go. No props for Pitt. Hungarian anti-terrorist police swoop on cache of 100 live weapons used for Brad's latest film. So this is October 2011. So again, the World War Z set comes into this country to film, and authorities find a shit ton of actual guns mixed in with the prop guns. So how many other movies did he make that didn't get caught is what it makes me think. Let's say you pull up with semi-trucks and a tour bus and a couple of semi-trucks. The one tour bus has Brad Pitt and Angelina in it. Well, the guys come to inspect the authorities come to inspect the trucks. Well, hey, they just send Brad and Angelina out there. Hey, go schmooze these guys up a little. And I bet you 90% of the time the authorities are there wanting to take a selfie with them, and they get so caught up in the idol worship of it that they probably even forget to do their job. And so how many other countries were they smuggling, guns and drugs into on the disguise of movies through Brad Pitt and other actors, That would explain all those. That explains a lot of stuff to me, like all these, tours, these wired, like, why are the Rolling Stones still on tour? Is there really that much of a demand? There must be, because I guess they're selling out. A lot of that's StubHub buying the tickets, but maybe it's just used as a cover too to go state to state though, and who knows what they're running? It could be human trafficking, guns, drugs, could be everything. So these are the controlled actors that they use. So let's say in this scenario here, this exact scenario, does Brad Pitt know they're running guns? I mean, I'd say probably not. There's handlers and there's all kinds of layers until you get to him, so the handlers do it all. But maybe this late in his career, maybe he's figured it out by now after something like this. But the average, action star, at least in the beginning of their career, probably has no idea that that's what's happening. How about when celebs get weird and just stare into space? I've seen that one. The one that I seen about that, the celebrities like glitching out, was you had Al Roker doing it, Jalen Rose, Shaquille O'Neal. There was one more I can't think of, but basically it was all like black guys, and there was there's a name to it. I can't remember the name right now, but there's like a sect of Freemasonry or whatever for black people. It's not the Buells or whatever. There's another one. And all those people that were like froze up on TV were part of that sect of like the Freemasonry or whatever, secret society. So I think that one in specifically is like some kind of initiation or something for those guys. So I don't think they're actually clones. Another one I've speculated on that same topic is on the Jalen Rose one. It looks really weird when you see him frozen on set. See, it's getting harder to find all this shit on. See, they say he's a robot. Now, I do believe they have the ability to have advanced robots that look like real people. I mean, what is up with this? Here we go. So when you see this happening here, I got a theory on this one. So watch this. Watch closely, like on his neck. So he's not moving at all. And when you see this guy's like tying his head back or something, it looks like a mask. And you'll see him like even reach under his neck. Look at that. He's pulling his skin out on his neck. Now his fingers don't move. Nothing moves at all that entire time. My theory on this one is what I just showed you with that face-to-face technology. I think Shaquille O'Neal and Jalen Rose may not even be in the studio at the game. I think they have this. This is a dummy, and it's basically like a latex head that looks just like them. Perfect hairline, perfect mustache, everything's perfect. Now, Jalen Rose and Shaq, this is just a guess, they can stay home and use that face-to-face technology, and they're just in front of a $50 webcam like me. They're in pajamas, they're at home with their kids, they don't have to travel city to city, they do whatever they want as they move their head, and they talk in real time, and their voice comes through in real time. But when you see this guy, there's just the camera on this face, and that moves the face. So when you see Jalen Rose in the suit talking at the show like this on the NBA Finals, he's probably not even there. That's my best guess of what that one is, because something's happening here where they're pulling his face off. Now, are they going to make a $2 million super advanced synthetic robot of Jalen Rose to call the NBA Finals? I doubt it. It's more likely they're going to let him webcam from home and just put it like a mannequin that's perfectly tailored. See, this other guy's barely moving to the side too. I don't think he's necessarily a robot or a clone. Clones to me can all be explained away by all kinds of different things. How did it stand up? Well, it's a dummy. It's just like a dummy that's in the store. How's that dummy standing up? Because you don't see him stand up. You see him already standing. So it's a fully posable, like an action figure almost. In my opinion, I don't know. I could be way off base on this one too. This is just my best guess because I looked into this one for a while. But what I see here is when you see his face, it almost looks fake. There's no way to get it any bigger than this, but this looks almost all like straight paint or something on his face. Now I get it. If he's there, he'd have a ton of makeup on and everything. But how could he not blink? How could his hands not move? Nothing moves an inch. All the other ones, I think, is just guys playing a role, like Al Roker. I think he's just, it's a joke they're playing on you. He freezes up. I get all these ads now, too. That's going to piss me off. But I think that's a misinterpretation of this. Or I think this is actually just an actor being initiated into something. So he does that, and he just gets stuck on that face. If you've never seen this one, there's a few of these glitches. Shaq does it. There's a bunch of other ones. I wish I could remember. I never can remember the name of that group. I know I'll remember it right when I get offline. Yeah, it looks like he's from the Wax Museum. Randy Superior said, yeah, for sure. The Black Buell. See, it's not the Buells, though. There's another one. And that's why I can't think of the name right now, but whatever. But yeah, man, this is pretty much my presentation. I feel like I could go all night on this because there's just so many of them as far as, actors and even Putin. It's why, maybe that's why you never see him. He's never like smiling or showing any emotion ever. Here he's smiling. But it's almost like he's almost like a complete Robotoid or something too. It's like maybe he's just CGI or something, but the guy never ever shows any emotion. That would be kind of a telltale sign of a CGI or something, in my opinion. If you look at the CGI graphics too, I mean the graphics have been pretty stagnant. This is a good one. Quantum of Conscience talks about a lot. Was the movie Final Fantasy, the movie, which was what year? I mean, the CGI in that looked more real than anything they put out today. And what year was that movie? So they're purposely holding that back. So the movie's in 2001. So you got to imagine there's at least 2 years of building that up. So let's say 99 they started it, just to make it even. So that's 20 years ago they started making that movie. And it looks better than any CGI movie that come out today. And ever since this movie, they seem to go in the opposite direction. They go into the direction of like cartoon Pixar type style movies instead of super photorealistic, because I feel like this one got too close probably. Like they got too close to the mark, when the people that have the real tech behind the scenes probably had to come out and be like, yo, let's slow this down. So people are going to catch on pretty soon that we have absolutely indistinguishable CGIs. When you go to this IMDb or whatever, so it's like a database for actors, you can put in almost any politician's name, and they come up as an actor. Actually, this guy, you'll see there's different. Why can't I open this? Another technical gremlin. Here we go. So he's listed as actually a producer and a soundtrack. He's not listed as an actor, which I find weird. But does soundtrack mean just voice actor for a CGI composite, maybe? Is this the one? I wish I could find I don't know the term to look up for the. There's one specific speech he gave towards the end of his presidency that he looked completely CGI to me. Most of the time he looks real, I think. What about Obama? Before I keep going on here, Obama is Ted Williams. Ted Williams was the homeless man with the golden voice, if you remember that story. But they gotta be the same guy. This one, if there's one I will co-sign on this whole thing, and I'll say it has to be. I'll say it's this one. Has to be the same guy. I think the joke is with this one. Again, it's the duality. You have the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the free world, and a homeless guy. But I think the joke is Ted Williams was a baseball player. And he had maybe not the most hits ever. I think that was Pete Rose, but that's another one. Pete Rose is El Chapo. But Ted Williams was known for, maybe he had the most hits before Pete Rose. I'm not sure if I'm 100% right on that. But I think the joke is that Obama has many characters beyond these two. And they're saying he's the man of many hits. Everything he does, look at this one. Everything he does is a hit, I think what they're saying. Whether it's a CGI guy or a real guy, they're saying that when they put this guy on, it's a hit. And it's going to work every time. I'm 100. I mean, as much as I could be, I can't say I'm 100% because I'm not there in the room watching him put on a mask. So, but that's just, the other thing is when you go into the comments of any of the Ted Williams videos, all of the comments, and these aren't conspiracy theorists or people that are even familiar with this concept that I'm presenting here, they're all saying, how is this not Obama? Or this guy looks just like Obama. Because subconsciously it registers with them and they know that it's the same guy. Pete Rose is El Chapo. Or I'm not saying he is, but is he? Is he El Chapo? There's Pete Rose with Ric Flair. Woo! And then you got El Chapo here. Because when you look at there's Pete, and there's El Chapo. When you look at the old pictures of El Chapo, he doesn't look anything like that. I don't know. I don't think that's the same guy. This, Pete Rose. This looks like somebody else. So the El Chapo thing could be it's a real guy, or was a real guy that was running drugs. Well, you don't run drugs against the government. The government is the drug dealer. So now they take him off the scene, basically. And now you have a character, a boogeyman, that you can use anytime. Just say, oh, he just escaped the prison or whatever. But he does look like Pete Rose. I'm trying to remember some of these other ones that I got, man. There's so many of them. I know I'm forgetting all of them right now that I'm on the spot. Go back here though to this IMDb because you can find anybody on IMDb. This is owned by Amazon. Elon Musk. Actor right here. Calls him an actor. I think this is how they get away with it. Is they list these guys all on these IMDb's and tell you exactly what they are. He's basically like playing the role of Tony Stark, Mark Zuckerberg. Elon Musk. They just bring out this government thing called PayPal, and they put a guy in as the face of it. Mark Zuckerberg, actor. See Beto O'Rourke? It doesn't say actor. I thought I had one before that said he did say an actor, but if you put Barron Trump, I remember this one too. He doesn't say actor. It says self. But when you put Donald Trump, definitely. Actor. Now this guy actually is an actor. That's how we started this thing tonight. You know, he literally is an actor. But we can do Hillary. Actress. Why are all these guys listed as actor, actress, producer, soundtrack even? I don't understand. And I've went deep to try to find what the exact definitions of these, and I haven't been able to really find them, like what you get as a credit for how you earn that credit or whatever. I mean, you could put almost any major politician in here. Vladimir Putin comes up as self. stunts, and cinematographer. What does that even mean? And producer. I mean, that's wild. I don't get it. And even here on this Al Roker one, it says Anderson Cooper mocks him. Anderson Cooper, you know, that's that Operation Mockingbird actor-based reality again, where they put these people, they tell you they're a news reporter and everything. It's really like a CIA agent or whatever alphabet agency agent in there to control the information that comes out of that news station. Sean Penn caught El Chapo. Chapo looks like someone's lazy uncle, they said. Man, what other ones you guys got? I know there's more of them. These people that look like... There's that guy that looks just like Will Ferrell. Who doesn't even know who I'm talking about. I can't think of the dude's name right now. It's probably on here if I go back in her Factory Faces and finish it up. Don Knotts and Steve Buscemi. Damn, I never thought of that. But yeah, they do look alike. More of that Factory Faces. Jonathan Pryce and Pope Francis. Now, isn't that the guy? And he played like the Sept or whatever on Game of Thrones. I think that's the same guy. Rob Schneider looks exactly like Eminem. I can kind of see that. I can kind of see where they're coming from on that. But this one says it's a big club and you ain't in it. So Claire puts the famous kin of Benjamin Harrison V. He goes down. It's tons of these people. Look at it. It's King Henry III, King Edward. Down here you got Edward Norton, Theodore Roosevelt, General Robert Lee, Prince William, Princess Diana, Queen Elizabeth, Jimmy Carter, Lee Harvey Oswald, George W. Bush, Christopher Reeve, Ted Danson. I mean, it just doesn't stop. All the names on here. Mitt Romney, Britney Spears, a NASA astronaut, Story Musgrave, John McCain, Chevy Chase, Paris Hilton, Thomas Jefferson, Elizabeth Shue. I mean, it's like a who's who, basically. And I think that's what's going on when they say like these bloodlines or whatever, where they're keeping all these actors, which people think are actually politicians creating laws and all that stuff. They're just literally actors, and they keep it in the family. Look at Upton Sinclair, everybody, Roy Rogers, John Cena. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. John Cena's related to that guy too? And that explains everything. Anderson Cooper. These are all the descendants of that one guy. And there's Lennon and Jobs again, the Apple. People keep telling me that Ireland's president looks like me playing Bernie Sanders, and they aren't wrong. He looks like Bernie. And then what's that new guy they got now too? He's like he's somewhere in Europe or something. He looks like Trump. And you guys know what I'm talking about? I forget what. Yeah, this dude here. Boris Johnson, that's his name. So he comes out, he's got the crazy hair, doing the suit, pointing the finger, just like Trump. And now I'm not saying that's like a factory face or that's not anything or the same actor, but it's definitely some archetype character they're bringing out and controlling to trigger you a certain way or another. These characters all incite emotions in you, and that's how all this Hollywood magic shit kind of works. It's like they all seem to live in your subconscious mind. And even like for an actor, for example, all the roles they've played throughout their career build up this like profile in your subconscious mind of them or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but then they're able to just withdraw this feeling from you when they show you this actor. So basically, like Tom Hanks, he's, Forrest Gump, he was in Castaways and all these feel-good movies. And then now they bring him in as Mr. Rogers coming out because, you know, you're conditioned to accept that kind of role from him as he's a wholesome, you know, all good guy or whatever. I don't know. I think I'm going to shut it down for tonight. I could go on all night. I got to get to bed eventually. It's almost midnight. But yeah, man, let me check out some of these comments here. EBT says, David Icke is Donald Trump. What about Donald Trump is Rosie O'Donnell? That would explain why they're always going at each other. Yeah, most people have never seen these things. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I could just keep plugging. You can put people in here. Look at, Chuck Schumer, actor, it says. I wonder if I put in Blasey Ford. Is that her name? Christine Blasey Ford or whatever. See if she comes up as actor. She comes up as self. There's not really even a profile for her though. But when you put like even Lil Xan, actor, why doesn't it say he's like musician or something, you know? Lil Xan comes up as an actor. Billie Eilish, actress. Why doesn't it say musician or something? Well, here it says soundtrack, whatever that means, composer. As far as I know, she's just singing, isn't she? Does she also make the beats or what? I mean, we could just... Let me see if Bernie Sanders is on here too. Actor, it says, yep. So people think Bernie is this politician that can't be bought. It says right here he's an actor. Ron Paul comes up as self, so I don't know if maybe that means he's not. Oh no, it does say actor. Ron Paul's the one guy I feel like he might be real, and he's just in there and he knows it's all bullshit, and he really can't say anything, and I think they just allow one guy in there, but he could totally also be a construct. The people that you think aren't constructs are the ones that actually are. Like Terrence McKenna. I know there's some people that hate to hear it. Terrence McKenna. But he's admitted here he's at Esalen talking about he's a agent. I don't know if I'll be able to find the video right here on the spot, but if you dig deep enough, there's a video of Terrence McKenna at Esalen, which is like a CIA hub. And he's giving a speech that says, hey, they came and approached me and said, with your ability to speak, you should come work for us or something. And now his fanatical followers think he's talking about mushrooms. But why would he be saying that at Esalen? In front of an entire group of actors, basically. So that's one thing to always remember, is the people you think aren't some kind of actor, that's the ones that really are. So you guys need to watch even me. If you're not critical of me or EBT or somebody, like, I mean, then you shouldn't be on this channel. You need to be questioning everything here, including me, including anyone that's put in front of you. The telltale signs are going to be they have a shit ton of followers. Anything over 10,000, in my opinion, is definitely suspect. But yeah, man. Tyler Perry is every black actor, UET said. Well, that's true. It was the Wayans in the 90s. But now Tyler Perry's taking that role now. But all right, man. I'm going to shut it down. I'm at 2 hours. Big time thanks to everyone that was up in here. Got to plug my teas real quick. If you just go to chalkbodyoutline.com, that's where you'll be able to find me if they ever nuke my page or whatever. If you can't find me, you go to chalkbodyoutline.com. It'll bring you to this. If you want to help support this channel, you can grab a t-shirt. People have already been grabbing them, so thank you if you've already got one. I collaborated with my buddy from high school, David Yang. He did these drawings for me, so I've known him forever. He's a good guy, man. These 3 black ones only come in black. So when you click this colored one, not all Americans see it, chemtrail awareness. You click this colored one, you can come in here and you can customize what color you want. Just go in here. The regular shirts right now are on sale. You click through it, it'll let you get a different color. If you click a different style of shirt here, you're on the regular one here. Go over here and click the extra soft. There's different colors for each style of tee there is. So you can get in here, you can pretty much personalize it how you want it as far as the color. And then you can even click this, this drop down menus for men's or women's t-shirts or hoodies, whatever you want to get. But yeah, if you wanted to support the channel that way, you can. If you did want to just do a PayPal donation or whatever too, you can do that too. But this is pretty sick here, and I think people would come up to you on the street and ask you about it. At the very least, you're spreading some chemtrail awareness. And I only make a couple bucks on each one. I'm gonna have some new stuff coming soon, so I'm gonna try to keep pushing this stuff. And then what we gotta do is, I'm not really worried about the couple bucks of it. I'm more worried about let me show you. You see these when you go to the mall. You see these shirts in like Spencer's and Hot Topic all the time. You see shit like this. This guy named Stephen Rhodes, and he sells shirts on the same platform that I'm selling the shirts on. But he sold enough to where now he's in Hot Topic and all those other mall stores. So like I said, I'm not worried about the couple bucks. But if I can sell enough, I can get these in I would think I can get them in Hot Topic and Spencer's and shit like that. And so you got to decide, what do you want people to see when they walk in Hot Topic? You want them to see this hanging on the wall? Or would you rather have them seeing some kind of like chemtrail awareness, vaccine awareness type shirts, I think there's definitely a market for the conspiracy type woke truther shirts or whatever. But I think, like I said, the couple bucks is inconsequential. If I can get them in here, even if they don't buy the shirt, they can go in and see the like chemtrail shirt or whatever, and then maybe it'll question them to go home and say, hey, what are these chemtrails about? And maybe they'll start going down those rabbit holes. And I want to kind of save the shirts for the more important topics like chemtrails, vaccines, the things you can actually prove, instead of just wild, off the wall ones. But for now, I only have those few styles, and I'll be having some more soon. But that's a way you could support the channel if you want. Thanks for everyone that was in here. I like doing these lives. It's pretty tight. I don't like sitting there editing all these videos.